Here, we turned on the fan and poured water in to take a look. Oh, it's a standard thickness packaging box, not particularly thick since this series focuses on value for money. The internal design style here is clearly a bit different from the flagship series. The packaging is an S30, there's a plastic semi-ejector, a protective case. Before you care about the specs, you'll definitely want to check out the price. If you already know the price after the subsidy, go ahead and post it in the comments. It comes with a 100-watt USB-A port using a proprietary protocol. Let's take a look at the output power here. It supports 11 volts at 6 amps as well as 20 volts at 5 amps, so it offers both high current and high voltage. As for the cable, it's a standard thickness 6 amp data cable. Now let's move on to our main focus. Most budget-friendly models use a screen ratio we're all pretty familiar with. Right now it's a very standard flat display, and the curvature at the edges of the screen is almost unnoticeable. The whole device feels comfortable in the hand and doesn't feel overly rigid. In this close-up, you can see everything very clearly. When the light passes over it, the frame basically doesn't have any noticeable curvature. The original factory design features a centered punch hole for the camera. Next, let's look at some other details, starting with the side. The volume button components, as well as the button below, are here. This separate button can be used for functions like taking photos. Next to the metal frame, there are 3 antenna bands. 1, 2, 3. On the other side, there are 2 bands on this side. At the top, there's a side speaker antenna strip here. At the bottom, there's also an antenna strip here. Pay attention to the holes on the side. Make sure not to insert anything into the wrong spot, okay? Next, let's take a look at the back panel. Overall, the back panel is quite recognizable. It's actually quite distinctive. So what's the main difference between this and the Windows version? The back here has 3 cutouts, while the Windows version has 4. The entire back panel uses this year's especially popular horizontal wideband design. Above the dual cameras on the left, there's a small feature here that's quite unique this time. Let's take a closer look at it in a bit. If you look closely at the dual color temperature fill light, you'll see there are 3 LED beads on top. Then, in the lower right corner, there's a small badge-like marking that looks like a wing, kind of like a nameplate. The overall look, combined with these slanted and irregular design elements, gives it a certain level of recognizability. Below, there's the standard Honor logo. The entire back panel has an 80 matte finish, so it doesn't pick up any fingerprints. Now, let's focus on this rather unique cutout position. When you look at it from the side, you'll notice a lot of hollowed out sections that seem a bit odd. What's that about? Let's change the angle and look over here. See that? Down here, this is a hidden fan vent. That's right, at a pretty competitive price point, they're even offering active cooling. All I can say is Honor seems like they're ready to shake things up. They're jumping ahead into the era of active cooling for evaluations. Alright, so from this setup, you can probably get a sense of it. The main target for this device is users who don't prioritize photography, but want high-performance gaming and cooling. That's its hardware angle. Okay, let's check out the weight, 230 grams. It's definitely not light, but considering its focus on gaming performance, that's understandable. Yeah, it's alright, right? It still seems pretty acceptable. As for the thickness, take a look. It's not exactly a super slim device. Next, let's see how it looks with a thin case on. Okay, that's roughly what it looks like. When it comes to switching devices with Honor Magic OS, we need to specifically talk about this. Let's skip the other devices for now. Let's focus on this one. As you can see, it includes previous Honor devices, Apple devices, and Android devices. Here, there's a separate option for Harmony devices from Huawei, and it even distinguishes between the Android version of Harmony OS and Harmony OS Next, which is for versions 5.0 and above. In other words, because of reasons you probably know, Honor is one of the very few, or maybe the only, brands on the market that can provide a relatively comprehensive data transfer solution, specifically for Huawei devices. As for the AI side button, you can set it up right from the start. Alright, let's get a general feel for the screen-to-body ratio. It basically achieves 4 equal width bezels, with the chin being just a tiny bit wider, but it's almost unnoticeable. Let's take a look at the icons according to personal habits. I need to clarify first, this is a demo unit. See this part down here? This is an engineering sample, so the apps you see here are just for reference, aside from these 4 demo apps. What about the other apps? The 8 on the outside are here inside. 3 plus 5 is 15, add 100,066 plus 81, making a total of 24 third-party apps, which is higher than average compared to devices we've tested. Let's take a quick look at the screen section. Resolution is 2800 by 1272. Power saving resolution is 2100 by 954. Normally, we select auto, and that's fine. The refresh rate is an important selling point, 60 and 185 Hz. This is esports display level on a smartphone with ultra-high refresh rate. As for the configuration, the Honor VRT is equipped with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 Leading Edition. Benchmark scores: Geekbench 6 single-core 3050, multi-core 9472, and Tutu V11. Benchmark score: 3.47 million. Given configuration and price, it's competitive. Gaming performance: 30 minutes Honor of Kings, average frame rate 120.4. Smart fan mode on, front max temp is 38.5 degrees, back 37.6. Total device power 3.47. Increasing load, Genshin Impact on highest graphics at 60 FPS. After 30 minutes, average frame rate 60.2, very stable, a straight line. Front temp 39.6 degrees, back 39.2 degrees, total power 4.38. Honkai Star Rail's Golden Hour. After 30 minutes, average frame rate is 59.7. Total device power consumption is 7.14 watts. The fan starts working. Front temperature is 44.2 degrees, back is 45.2. We then turned off the fan and ran it for another 30 minutes to compare temperature differences. The fan's performance shows roughly a 5-degree difference. This is impressive. The thermal image clearly shows the cooling fan's airflow effect. The Win RT has a large 10,000 mAh battery and a 100-watt charger. Testing showed 63 minutes to charge 0 to 100%, then trickle charging took 1 hour 34 minutes total. After our standard 5 tests, the remaining battery was 72%. We played 4K 60 FPS online videos and also turned on the live comments, Danmu. We did a direct test, and from a full charge to shutdown, it lasted a total of 18 hours. Now, some of you might be wondering why there isn't an eye protection option in the main settings. That's because Honor takes eye protection very seriously, so they've placed it separately in the primary menu. Under the display section, there's a dedicated Honor Oasis eye protection option. If we tap in to take a look, the options here are probably the most comprehensive among all smartphones right now. They include eye usage statistics, eye usage monitoring, which mainly detects the distance to remind you, personalized color settings, and even sensitivity adjustments for different colors. Sleep Aid display. It adjusts the screen's color temperature with time of day, providing a natural color gradient adjustment. The eye protection mode filters blue light. It supports ultra-high frequency PWM dimming. Examine the screen arrangement. Now, sound check. Go beyond. The system ringtones for Sim 1 and Sim 2 are different. The stereo effect is actually pretty strong. Let's take a quick look at the biometrics. The facial recognition is all 2D, so nothing much to say there. The main thing is to check out the fingerprint recognition. The position of the sensor is actually quite upright here. It hasn't been moved down, so overall it's still pretty comfortable. As for the grip, it's still pretty good. Even when we cover it like this, it unlocks normally, and even when covering up to the nose. It can still unlock. Alright, do you guys think it can unlock if I'm wearing a gas mask? If you think it can, type 1. If you think it can't, let's wait and see. Get ready, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Oh, let's try that again. I didn't use my fingerprint, okay? 3, 2, 1. All right, so that means even when you're wearing a mask or a gas mask, you can still unlock it normally. Now, let's make it harder and head into the lab. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it can unlock. Now let's go to Raccoon City. 3, 2, all right, this time it doesn't work. All right, so let's take off the glasses. 3, 2, okay, it can still unlock. So that means as long as your face retains enough features around the eyes, it can unlock normally. Look at the hardware, here and here, see? Here and here. They're related right here, called cooling fans. If we click here, we can clearly see 2 options, real-time temperature and fan speed. In the past, to check the real-time temperature, you had to rely on third-party system monitoring software to detect it. But now the system itself already provides this for you, and now we can manually turn it on. I'll put it right next to the microphobia. You can hear that the fan noise is still quite noticeable, especially when you're close to it. Of course, if you move further away, it's not as obvious. Next, let's test the overall sound situation. When you're playing on a laptop, the noise might be pretty loud, but you're usually sitting a bit farther away. However, if you pick it up and play games like this, the distance is about 30 centimeters or so. If you look from the side, it's about 30 centimeters. So the distance is a bit closer, which makes the noise something we should pay attention to. Now let's take a look. First, I won't say anything, and you can check out the sound in this part. Let's all stay quiet for now. Stop. In our live stream room, it's about 40 centimeters, right? Around 40. Next, we're going to turn on the fan, right here at this spot. Let's listen to the sound it makes, and then I'll move to where I'm sitting and listen to the sound from there. All right, now we're going to stay quiet and turn on the fan. Okay, so the conclusion is very clear. With the fan off, the sound in our live stream room, just a slight background noise, is about 40, right? When the fan is on full power, it's about 48. And that medium, it's around 45. Keep in mind, that's measured at this closest spot right next to it. Now let's test from a bit farther away, about 30 centimeters, which is about the distance when you're holding it to the side like this. Let's check the sound level again from here, which is about the length of my arm in front of me. Now, with it on silent mode, the reading drops to 40. So you can see it really clearly, right? When you're about 30 centimeters away and the fan is on max, the decibel level is around 43. But if you're really close, it's 48, 49, even up to 50. You can pick up on those subtle sounds if you listen carefully. But in everyday use inside the room, it's not very noticeable. This is basically the kind of sound you get. The design is actually pretty good. First of all, the fan is positioned right here, so no matter how you hold it, you won't have the fan getting in the way or blocking anything. Of course, by default, it's set to automatically adjust the fan, but you can also choose manual mode. Right now, you can see this is the highest fan speed, and it's stepless adjustment, so I can turn it down to the lowest fan setting. At this level, the sound is almost gone. The lowest setting is over 9,000 RPM, right? Let's check per minute. The highest setting is 25,000 RPM. 25,000 divided by 60, that's 416 or 417. So about 420 revolutions per second, right? That's what it means. And if it's the lowest at 9,000 RPM, 9,000 divided by 60 is 150 revolutions per second. Previously, a physical fan couldn't be waterproof. Now, Honor's WinRT supports IP68, IP69, and even IP69K waterproofing. So we'll pour water into the fan to see what happens. I have to say, at this price point, this feature is pretty fresh and quite competitive. Besides that, it also has a smart activation when charging. When you're charging, battery heating is what damages the battery the most. So they've also added this option, meaning we can cool it down a bit even while charging. There's also a startup sound effect below, with 3 different sounds. When we turn on the fan, it'll play one of them. Like the acceleration sound. Now that's kind of interesting. Let's switch to another sound and listen. Whoa, that startled me. Let's try one more. Alright, that's the idea. It really amps up the ceremony when playing. Both models in this generation of the Honor Win series have features and are competitive. The main difference in appearance is the addition of a camera, making it more versatile, and it comes with the latest processor. Combined with a signature 10,000 mAh battery, it can win over users. But if you're looking for better value and don't prioritize photos, then given its price, the Win RT would be more practical. The Snapdragon 8 Ultimate Edition still performs well, with its signature large battery, cooling fan, and water resistance. Compared to the Win, it lacks 80-watt wireless charging, but given its price, the RT is recommended.